Today we're going to do some different stuff. It's going to involve some sausage that I had just made over the weekend. It's also going to involve some spaghetti squash, some zucchini, and chaffles. We're going to try to, like I said, we're going to come up with some new recipes, all low carb, and we're going to try to put this all together. I'm going to try to get away from the old mindset of food, of the traditional ways, and this is what we're going to be doing from now on. New ways of cooking, different recipes, get away from the traditional stuff, and a new concept. So, with that said, let's get going. I made this sausage over the weekend, and this is the sweet sausage. This came out absolutely delicious. Now, I let this sit in the vacuum seal bag in the refrigerator since yesterday, since we made it on Saturday. Now, what I did was I took a rolling pin and saran wrap and I rolled it out a little bit. Okay, so we come down to the thin consistency. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to make some patties with it. Now I'm going to take this size cup, okay, and we're going to roll over to the side here, and then lift it up from the saran wrap, put it back in this little pan here. Now it's got a little bit of oil on it. Put it around, and that's how we do it. Alright, that's the sausage cooking up now. Now that's different size patties I made. I mean, you can do anything you want. And now into the pan, a little at a time, some spaghetti squash. We want to get this to be dried out a little bit. Don't want to overwhelm the pan with too much. And that is one large spaghetti squash. And there's the remainder in the container. And I'm going to do this a couple batches at a time and put it onto the side. The whole plan is here to incorporate this with some zucchini into a chaffle with some sausage. Now I got the zucchini that I'm going to slice up now. I'm going to slice it up on the OXO. I'm going to slice them kind of thin, and then I'm going to put them in the pan fry them in some butter, and we'll move on to the next segment. There they are. Nice consistent slices. This thing is, the OXO is unbelievable. Very consistent, and now I'll get to be pan frying them. Well, living out here in Vegas, some things you just got to go with, and we got a hot pan here, so we're going to go to table 1. Hit you. Hit me. Till I got 17. Hit me. Hit me. And this is the reason why I do them so thin, is because they cook up much faster. You don't crowd the pan, and they come out nice and even. Sauteing up nice. You can see the contrast in colors. Okay, these are almost done to where I want them. I don't want to overcook them because they're going to get cooked again. I'm going to do something with the chaffle. We're going to put it in the oven. So they're just about ready. But I just wanted to show you the contrast between them. Okay, we got the big components done. Now, this is the way the zucchini came out. The OXO slices it nice and thin. It cooks up beautiful. Seasoned them, and they're ready. Sausage patties are all ready, and spaghetti squash. Okay, now I'm going to put this component together. Next we're going to make chaffles, but then I'm going to put everything together and then show you exactly what I'm doing. The chaffle iron on is heating up. Now into my little mighty mixer here, I'm going to add 2 eggs. This is my recipe for chaffles. Usually it calls for 1 egg and half a cup of cheese. I believe that's what it is. Mine, I do half a cup of cheese, but 2 eggs. Gives a little bit more volume in my hands here. But what I'm going to do is add to this, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of the spaghetti squash. I'm going to give it a little bit more lift, a little bit more volume to it. And then my half a cup of cheese. Now to the mixture, I'm going to add some oregano. I like the oregano. Matter of fact, every morning I take an oregano oil pill. Helps you with your digestion and your stomach. Just a shaker in here to taste. Put the cover on here and let's mix her up. Now, nice consistency. I like it a little thicker. The other way, it seems to come out a little bit more runnier, and it has more of an eggy taste. When I add something else into it, it takes that eggy taste away. So this looks pretty good. Okay, chaffle's in. I'm going to see what happens. Well, them chaffles are cooking up. Every morning, my wife and I we sit and have our coffee, and we chat about things and reminisce about old times and stuff. We were both born in the 50s. Obviously, I was born in 54. We both were. We were talking, remember, as kids, sitting down in black and white TV, watching our cartoons and eating alphabets, post-alphabets. Talk about loaded with sugar. Holy crap. But we were the guinea pigs. I mean, that's when the era started as far as prepackaged foods. The generation before us, they made everything themselves. Everything. Every night was a sit-down dinner. Weekend breakfast, lunch. You know, everybody was together. We were sort of pushed off to the side. They invented TV trays back in my time. I remember, you know, all right, let's set up the TV tray and put on Officer Joe Bolton and watch the Three Stooges. You talk about an oxymoron. Holy crap. But the fact of the matter is, we were the guinea pigs as far as the new foods, the new type of foods. And then when we got older, they started making Lucky Charms with the marshmallows and all that stuff, Cocoa Puffs and Wheat Tina. Oh, I couldn't stand it. And then it seemed to be like the family started separating a little bit as far as dinner time. And then Swanson came out with TV dinners. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Hey, if you have any comments or any memories, put them down in the comments down the bottom there. I'd like to hear. Okay, chaffle come out. Kind of got some volume to it. A little darker. But we're going to give it a taste right now. Different kind of. Wow. Nice oregano. It's got the oregano in it. Tastes a little bit of the spaghetti squash, the cheese. This is turning out the way I want it. Underneath here is a chaffle. Now, when I made the chaffle, it was with 2 eggs, half a cup of mozzarella cheese, and a quarter cup of spaghetti squash. I blended it all up, made the chaffles. The chaffles come out and tasted delicious. I also put a little, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of oregano in it. Came out delicious. That was the good part. Then what I did was I experimented a little bit. I had a lot of spaghetti squash left over. And what I did was I pureed up some of it. And I also added a couple sausage patties to it. Give it that flavor. And probably maybe 3 or 4 teaspoons of mozzarella cheese, just to tighten it up a little bit. And then also on here you can see I did the zucchini. So add a little tomato sauce to it, to the puree, and we're going to give it a try, see what it's like. I demolished it. It was delicious. A little unorthodox the way I put it together. A little time consuming. It's the first time I did it, but I tell you what, delicious. Now this is the way it came out. As far as what I did was I took a little bit of tomato sauce that I had left over. I chopped up what was left of my sausage patty, and this puree that I did here with the spaghetti squash, and I pureed also one sausage patty in with it, and then I made a round of it, and then I topped both top and bottom with some zucchini. Then I layered them onto the chaffle. Now these chaffles are much different than the conventional one, because rather than adding any kind of flour to it or whatever, you know what I mean, coconut flour, almond flour, or any additives to it, pork rinds, this was 1/3 of a cup I put in of the spaghetti squash. 2 eggs, half a cup of cheese. Seasoned it, oregano, that was it. Cooked them up, and I tell you what, they're delicious. It even puffed up a little bit more, give you that bread consistency on there, which I'm not looking for because that's a trigger for me. Good, but anyway, It was very unconventional to put together, but very tasty. This puree that came out here with the spaghetti squash, quarter cup of cheese, I believe it was quarter cup of cheese, and one sausage patty, also gave the consistency of forgot cheese. I'm a blank. It had that creaminess taste to it. So therefore, that's a stepping stone to a couple other dishes that we're going to come up with. But this was absolutely delicious. I mean, like I said, you got to play. You got to get away from the traditional foods. That's the killer. That's the spaghetti squash. Most people use spaghetti squash, put sauce and meatballs on it, trying to mimic spaghetti and meatballs. It's just not there. And all that does is it tricks your mind into having spaghetti again. Well, I can have one plate. Once you knock yourself out of ketosis, you're screwed. You back, the fight goes back on again, and then it's a give up. Then you can't do it anymore. All right, enough of my bull crap.